What's going on, everybody? My name is Cassie French with the Garrison Real Estate Group. We're part of Berkshire Hathaway. We are located in North Orange County, and I just wanted to put out a video because I want to debunk all the things that are going on right now. You hear crazy stories in the news where, we're going into a recession, there's inflation. Yes, those are all true, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good time to buy a house. And I'll tell you why. Actually, I've got 10 reasons why now is the perfect time to be purchasing a home. Not back when interest rates were low, when there were multiple offers on every single house, when houses went $200,000, $300,000 over list price, even the appraisal, and people had to pay out of pocket. Those times are over, and that is why you should take advantage of this market that we're in right now. So reason number one, that is less competition. I kind of just touched on it, but less competition. Before we had two was nothing. We've had 15 offers on homes. I'm sure other people have had 20 offers on homes. That is done. You have less competition. You don't have to actually be putting in an offer and just praying and hoping that, that you would get the house or write a love letter to the seller when all it came down to was price. Those days are over, and that is why you actually have more options. Reason number two, you actually have more time to think about the purchase of your home. It is the biggest purchase of your entire life, and it is where your family is going to live. Now you don't have 4 days to decide, or having all these pre-approval letters handled, and then you not get the house, and then you actually have to get another pre-approval, which kind of screwed up a lot of people's credit, I'm sure. So then they just got exhaustion. So now you've got more time to actually decide, is this really where I want to be? Is this a great place for my kids to go to school? Are they able to walk there? What's my life going to be like living in this house? Does it have a pool? Because my family loves swimming. You've got the options. You've got more time to think about it. You've got more time to think about whether or not you can afford it. Reason number three, you do not have to pay the above the appraised value right now. Okay, so houses were coming in, and in order to get the house, people would actually have to pay out of pocket above the appraised value of what the bank would actually loan them in order to win the house. That you don't actually have to do that anymore. So, if the appraisal doesn't come in, you actually have room to negotiate. Hey, how are we gonna figure this out? Whether you still want the house and you're gonna make up the difference with the seller, that's an option. You could back out, that's an option. Actually leads me to number 4, which is my number 4 reason. You actually don't have to write contingent offers anymore. Oh yeah, I've never been a fan of removing all your contingencies. You get an inspection period now, and you can actually inspect what the house is like, and you can see and try and get things fixed on a house. I mean, if a house is 20 years old, there's got to be something wrong with it. There's either termite damage, there's, plumbing issues, there's small little issues, but guess what? You get to negotiate it now instead of just writing off all of your contingencies and pretty much be stuck with a house that you had no idea any of these issues actually were a problem. Got number 5 coming at you. I actually think this is the most important one, but I put it in right there in the middle just in case some people were bored with my 10 reasons, because you never know. People's attention span is really small these days. So number 5, this is by far the most important, and I've actually been saying this when I actually sold my house. So the price that you pay for a home will never, ever, ever change. It'll never change. The price, let me say that again. The price that you paid when you purchased the home is never going to change. If you purchase the home for $1 million, you're always going to have, whether you put down a down payment or you paid cash for the house, whatever it is, it's the price that you paid for the home. Even if you refi, even if you pull equity out, you've got it, okay? So all you hear about is interest rates going up. This is crazy. Oh my gosh, the world's gonna end. 5.5% interest is like super high. No, that's not high at all. So let's do some math here, okay? And I actually did do an example, and I want to make sure that I say it right. So I pulled out, I had a mortgage calculator to really prove to you that it really is that important. So, okay, when interest rates went down, the prices went up, right? Because more people were like, oh my God, interest rates are so low. I want to buy a house. And then there was more demand in the market and people just went out and bought houses. And then you had the bidding wars. And then people are paying out of pocket. And it was just crazy that people are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars over what the appraised value was. And then just because interest rates were low, it made 0 sense. So let me do some math for you. Okay, so say that in 2019, this house on whatever street it is in Yorba Linda, let's just say Yorba Linda, was $1 million, okay? In 2019. So in the last 2 years, it has gone up so much, and it's gone up drastically, that people are buying this same house for $1.5 million. And when people justified that, and that, let's just say that was in January because the market was on fire then. You would purchase a house for $1.5 million, 20% down, 3.5 interest, have a 3.5 interest rate, and your payment would be around $7,500 a month, okay? Now, prices are coming down, and I don't necessarily think that they're back to the 1 million mark, but they might be soon. You don't know because there's so much doom and gloom that everyone's hearing about, and there's not enough buyers in the market right now, which is really good for you. Anyway, so say that same house goes back to 2019's prices, okay? So you can purchase the same house because it is the same house. It's not that house was now worth more or it's a better house. It's the same house. You're just paying more for it. You pay, like, say, 1.2. And it was 20% down, and you pay 5.5 interest on the property. Your payment is actually $7,200 a month, and I actually rounded that up. So you're actually saving $300 a month. If you really, really want to know more about specifics about a property, that's why you got. Well, I'm not a mortgage broker, but you've got me where I can help guide you, make sure that you get in touch with the right mortgage broker and do what is absolutely best for you and your family. So at number 6, I know I already said that you have more options, but since we're already on the topic of interest rate, there's an option, and only if you have a really good realtor, they actually know about this, but you can actually ask the seller to buy down your interest with points. Isn't that crazy? Depending on the purchase price of the home, it could even be anywhere between like $4,000 to buy down up to if it's super crazy, maybe 40, but typically it would be around 4,000 to 20,000 in the typical market, especially typically here. But again, that's something that you would speak to your mortgage officer about on how much would really need to be paid for in order to buy down your rate, but those are options. You can actually ask the seller to help you out, so you don't have to come out of pocket for an interest rate buy down. Number 7, let's be honest, sellers are kind of panicking right now, especially here in the summertime. Things are a little bit slower because everyone's actually on vacations or they're living life, they're out with their kids. They're not necessarily looking to go purchase a home right now. This typically is a slower month. But sellers are panicking. So you know what that means for you? That means that you have more power. So you can, like I just said, you can ask the seller to buy down your interest rate. You can negotiate a lower price. Sellers are already lowering prices for their home. If it doesn't sell in 14 days, they're panicking and they're cutting it down 50 to 100 grand just right off the bat. So that gives you more room to negotiate. That gives you more room for, you get to do your inspection again. So, you can actually ask for more credits. You've got more power. Okay, number 8. Rents are extremely expensive still. So hopefully everybody knows the benefits of actually purchasing a home over renting. And if you don't, I'm here. But I understand that renting is a temporary solution. However, purchasing a house is more of a long, stable future. If you're a homeowner, you actually get to write off interest for your taxes. And that's something that you talk to an accountant about. But you can write off your interest and you actually get benefits for owning a home rather than renting. Number 9, one other thing that we also saw a lot in the last 2 years is that there's a lot of cash buyers, especially here in North Orange County. I don't know, that's people from other countries or just people just killing it in the stock market, which that's not really going so well right now. But if you're a cash buyer, you're not actually paying way above anyone else. Like cash offers were typically something that sellers would actually, that they would win. They would win the offer if you were in a multiple offer situation. So now if you have cash and you still have the same amount of cash and you're willing to pay the same amount for a house, you actually don't have to go above what you would pay previously. So you get a little bit better of a deal and you ultimately still have that power. So it's a good thing to be a cash buyer and pay less for the house, which is even better because, again, the price that you pay for the home from the very beginning is the price that you'll always pay. End of story. The end. It's about purchase price, in my opinion. Because interest rates, I'll just touch base on this again. Interest rates fluctuate. Purchase price does not. So interest rate, I don't think I talked about this earlier because I'm really passionate about this, but if the interest rate goes up and we're at 5.5, we might even get up to 7, we might get up to 10. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. No one does. But down the road, we're going to have to turn. We're going to have to take and go the opposite way. So you can always refi your house as you've built equity into your home. And as long as your price that you paid for the house is lower than like what it was at 2.5% interest, you're never, ever, ever going to be able to renegotiate that because interest rates were the lowest that they've ever been. Okay, number 10, hopefully I didn't lose anybody, and I really appreciate the ones that did stay with me. But number 10 is you've got to have somewhere to live. Everyone has to have a place to live, for their family to go. Sorry, I've got hair in my face. Everyone has to have a place to live. So if you plan on purchasing a home and you find your dream home and you know you're going to live there for 10 years at least, it doesn't matter what the Fed does. It doesn't matter if we're in a recession. It doesn't matter what interest rates are. Okay, you've got a home for you and your family. You're paying down you're getting tax benefits for your interest that you're paying on your home. You're getting benefits for having a stable environment for your family and for yourself. You are part of a community and you're in a home that you love, and you put, like, when you own a home ownership, I mean, at least to me, is very valuable. I have pride in ownership, and I take care of my home, and hopefully you will too. And it's just something that you can be proud of at the end of the day. So just because interest rates or the Fed or all this uncertainty is going on right now does not mean that you shouldn't buy a home for you and your family. But